All right, everyone, now we have to talk about James Comey. Now, it's no secret, it was kind of obvious that Comey improperly stored and recorded data in his official role as the head of the FBI. He was apparently he was using his desk as a storage place for sensitive documents. Not necessarily classified, but I mean, if the rest of the FBI doesn't know something exists, it hasn't been cataloged or something, it can't be classified. At some point, he leaked material to the press. And he claims that he's been corroborated by the IG report, but it doesn't make any sense. I mean, he's essentially gaslighting the whole U.S. population. The report simply says, look, we're not going to prosecute him for this. Yes, there were breaches of protocol. It's sort of like a Hillary Clinton all over again. He did the wrong thing. A normal, sane person would probably prosecute him for it since he did break federal law, but we're not going to prosecute him because reasons. Now, keep in mind, this is one of only 3 reports that's going to be coming out. This doesn't have anything to do with the report on the Steele dossier. Comey signing off on a FISA warrant, greenlighting things while knowing, according to his own recollection before Congress, that the whole thing was bullshit at the time. That raises some significant concerns. And then you have the question of whether he may have been colluding with the heads of other intel groups in order to actually retroactively justify his own actions. That's what I've speculated for years. That what happened is at the highest levels and at the lowest levels, you had political hatchet job going on. And it sort of snowballed. What happened is that an initial attempt to take, an op research document from the Hillary Clinton campaign and circulate it, I guess, for some reason, at the lower levels, managed to get to Comey. He accepted it, then told Congress he thought it was bullshit, but used it anyway, probably for self-serving reasons. Fronts it, further, and it gets a whole investigation of a presidential campaign going under the acknowledgement of the possibility, according to everyone associated with it, that Russia was interfering with our election system, that there was a grave national security threat. Russia's attempting to interfere, and it may have a channel into an active presidential campaign. Either they're controlling Trump or Manafort or something really fishy is going on, we got to investigate. At that point, because it had been successfully fronted to Rosenstein and gotten to the top levels of the FBI and everything else, even people like some little agent would have thought too, if they had access to that material, if they're confronted, they'd be like, wow, there's a big problem, we've got to do all we can to stop the Russians, essentially. That never happened, but that's what it would appear to be to them. Even people in positions of relative power would have seen these reports going on and would have jumped at attention and said, shit, the Russians, it's a real Red Scare. It's the commies are trying to get us. What's the problem? It was all based on lies. What's the problem? The entire bit of Mueller probe, everything associated with Comey and the Mueller probe and all of these other figures and investigations was prefaced on bullshit. Did Comey know that it was bullshit, though? This matters. Because if you're signing off on the FISA warrant saying, yeah, you should investigate his presidential campaign, and you know that it's bullshit, that the one main piece of evidence that you have of Russian collusion isn't even real, that's going to be a problem. And it's probably going to land Comey in prison. Because that's a little bit more than just data retention bullshit. That was the excuse they used with Clinton, too. Well, yeah, she improperly stored, sent, and received, confidential materials and classified intel, and Anthony Weiner got a hold of some of it. Abedin had access to it, and it was improperly stored in a bathroom server. All of this stuff stinks to high hell, and then they destroyed shit with hammers instead of wiping it properly before physically destroying it. But where, even though she broke the law a million times, we're not going to do anything, because no sane prosecutor would, waste their time. That's what they did for Hillary. Now Comey's going to get the same treatment, at least for now, because again, the next reports we get might be far more damning. It could be that they corroborate what he's saying. It could be that he just improperly stored shit and leaked it to the media, which I think is a bigger concern. He's claiming he didn't and that he's been exonerated on that. No, you haven't. The report explicitly lists that you leaked material to the media. You did give material to the media wrongfully. The only reason in which you would be corroborated is if the report had found that it was okay for you to have stored the material in the manner you did. But it didn't find that. It found that you improperly did so. that in your acting role as FBI director, you should have cataloged that material and submitted it. You shouldn't have been keeping it in your own desk. You shouldn't have been bringing it home. So for you to say, well, because it's my own personal shit, it's okay for me to give it to the media, my personal notes, my recollections of these conversations, or these musings on Pissgate or the Steele dossier at large, no, it's not allowed. But if you're a fan of Comey, if you're a never Trumper, you probably just accept him at his word that it's okay because you didn't look that deeply into the report. Now, is that a huge problem? Like is this A-grade scandal? Not yet. Don't jump the gun yet. This isn't evidence of a mass conspiracy because all it shows is Comey being a slimy character. That's not a mass conspiracy. The big thing will be the third report that says whether or not he was coordinating with other intel heads. That's when all hell breaks loose if that's corroborated. I suspect it probably will be to some degree. I think it's the concern level right now is like a 3 out of 10. That could jump up a lot higher over the course of the next reports that we're now expecting. Take a little time. They got to compile everything and notarize everything, re-notarize the notarized pages and submit it before committee and then notarize it again, and then it goes to the lawyers and they reword it, notarize it again, and send it back to committee. That's the way things work in government because, we're fucking crazy. We've decided to stop being the true grit sort of mentality Americans that would literally amputate their own limbs if they got attacked by an animal out in the middle of the 19th century while they're wandering through 100 miles of uncharted wilderness for a trap line. We've gone from that to making sure that, if one letter is wrong on your document, you can lose your home to some, greasy agency. So how far the mighty are falling at the moment. Maybe we should reverse course a little bit. The FBI was never meant to be a permanent fixture of our government, by the way. Razorfist pointed that out. It's funny because now people think it's indispensable. That's about all. Peace out.